Greetings all, and welcome to the magic portion of our Sunday School's normal music, magic, and messing around. Today we talk about Jesus. We talk about Jesus and his last-minute instructions to his disciples. Now, Jesus was their friend, their teacher, their rabbi. They knew that he was a miracle worker, a healer, and he was their Messiah. And they knew it, that he was a savior of a reluctant nation. And he's talking to his disciples. Now, you remember the disciples. The disciples, Peter and his brother Andrew, James and his brother John, Philip and his best friend Bartholomew. And of course there's Simon the Zealot and Thomas. This is the one that we talked about being Thomas the Doubter earlier. There's also Matthew, and they say that his son was James. Matthew and James. And then there's Jude, soon to be known as Jude, not the Iscariot, and Judas Iscariot. So all of these disciples are gathered in an upper room together for the Last Supper. And the Last Supper, well, they were going to have a Passover supper. And so Jesus had them all there, and he was giving them instructions just before all hell broke loose. And what happened is that Jesus had taken some bread, and he dipped it in the wine, and he gave it to one disciple, Judas Iscariot. He gave this to Judas, and that allowed the devil to take control of Judas. So the devil is in Judas at that point. And Judas, well, he immediately leaves the rest of the disciples. He has got betrayal work to do. And so he leaves, and Jesus continues talking to his disciples. Jesus knows he's just put into motion his own capture and execution. And he's trying to console the disciples, and they don't even know it yet. When he's saying, don't let your heart be torn up. Don't be distressed with what's going to happen. And he says, well, you believe in God. Believe also in me. And if you do this, sooner or later, your heart will be totally restored. Now, Jesus, we'll use this coin to represent Jesus. And so that we don't mistake Jesus for George Washington, we'll put a J for Jesus on the face, and on the back, we'll put a C for Christ. So here we have Jesus Christ. And Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave you by a way that you know. Of course, he's talking about dying and going into the veil of death. But, so he said he was going to do that, and he said, I'm going to leave by a way that you know. But I'm going to go to my Father. My Father has many mansions. There are mansions in my Father's house one mansion, another mansion, and another mansion, and another mansion. There are so many mansions in my Father's house that it could house the world. And he said that I am going to go there to prepare a place for you. So Jesus is going to go to his Father's house and prepare a mansion for all of his disciples. Now, Thomas says, but we don't know where you're going. Are you going to be going to the north, or up north, or are you going to go to the south? Or are you going to go to the east, or are you going to go to the west? Where are you going? Where in the world are you going? And Jesus says, well, if you don't want to be left behind, look up to me, because I know the way, and there is one way, my way. And that if you need to know I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh to the Father but by me. He said these things, and then he went on to say that, well, they asked, well, show us the Father. If you're going to take us to the Father, show us the Father. And he said, the Father is in me, that in me is the Father, and that I am in the Father. Father's in me and I'm in the Father. How can something be in, well, wait a second. The blue was in the black. Now the black's in the blue. I don't understand how things can happen, but sometimes they just do. And so if you remind me that Jesus said, I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, then maybe we can get together and each of us take an airhead to lunch. Thank you very much. We'll see you at church. Remind me, the Father's in me, and I'm in the Father, and the disciples were not airheads. Thank you.